Hey, welcome back to What is Ken Doing? Today we're going to do something a little bit different than what we usually show. We're going to actually do a kit review here on a model that I recently picked up. This is the GMC Syclone pickup. It's a 1/25th scale model from Revell, as you can obviously see. And I've been really impressed with this kit. I've been looking for a while for a kit to do an S10, and this is about the only thing that I was able to come up with. I was a little bit nervous about ordering it because I didn't want one that had the body flares like the like the Syclone has, but I figured it was better than nothing, and so I'd give it a shot. So we're going to take a few minutes and just kind of pull the package apart and see what's in here, and let you know what we've come up with. I ordered this kit from Amazon. I think I paid about $12 or $15 all said for it, which I thought was a really great price, considering that, as I recall years ago, this kit was close to $20 in the hobby shops. I believe this kit is out of print or out of production, and so the company that was selling it on Amazon said they only had a few left, but I would definitely recommend trying to get a hold of one of these if you see it. I've been really impressed with this kit. One of the things that I liked about the packaging is that everything is kind of in its own little containers, especially the cab. I appreciated seeing the cab wrapped up separately. That's small enough that you likely would have seen that right on one of the sprues when it was being molded. But they put the cab in the packaging, and they had also the cab floor in there as well. And that, as you can see, has been molded nicely as well. Now this is set up for the Syclone package. I'm actually going to be building this as a standard S10 pickup truck, a Chevy model, if I can figure out how to modify the grille. But you can see that this is set up for bucket seats. I'm going to see if I can find a bench seat that will fit in there, or maybe even just scratch build one. And I may have to use the Dremel and grind out some of those little perches for the seats. Yeah, I said earlier that I was nervous that we were going to get this kit and it was already going to have the body flares on it. I was glad to see that it didn't. I'm going to show you that next. Here's the side of the cab, and if you look closely you can tell that this is not a Syclone cab. This is just a standard S10 everyday pickup truck. Nothing fancy about it at all. And the mold is just great on this. There's almost no flash or anything on these, and the cab, the A pillars on the cab are nice and straight. The B pillars are nice and straight. If you look closely, I don't know if you can tell, but even the molding, the mold lines and the door lines down here by the rocker are nice and straight. I've got a couple of kits that those lines are kind of wavy on it, and it's going to require some extra work there. There's not a ton of stuff molded in to the fender wells, which I appreciate. You've got the washer fluid tank, you've got the ABS module, looks like there's the overflow tank for the radiator, and there's something else down there that maybe it's supposed to be the battery or something, I'm not for sure there. But there's no wires molded into the fenders or anything like that. I personally would prefer just hand wiring everything, like most of you probably do as well. And so there's nothing that's going to need to be sanded off and hidden on there. You can see there's even the holes for the washer, for the wiper arms to be glued onto, which is great. There'd be no guesswork there as to where they go. And because this is a late 80s, early 90s GM performance vehicle, there's not a whole lot of chrome on this car. And representatively, there's not a whole lot of chrome in the kit. We've got the wheels, looks like there's the headlight buckets, and a couple of other things in here. Maybe there's the mirrors, a couple of engine parts, but that's about it. And that's okay with me. The S10s typically didn't have a lot of chrome on them anyway, And so, especially for the way that I'm going to be building the truck, that works just fine. I'm probably not even going to use those wheels either. I'm going to use a set of Krager SS wheels on this, so I'll save those wheels for a different kit. For the tires, there's only one set that came with the truck, and those are a hard vinyl. These are not hollow tires, they're solid. And they've got a nice wide tread pattern on them, so I think they'll be useful for the project. In fact, I may even try to use these on this project if they'll fit on the SS wheels that I'm going to be using for it. But they've got the little tree that they've been molded to, so there'll be a little bit of cleanup on here, a little bit of flash you can see on the tires, but not too bad. I think that by the time they get trimmed off and sanded for realism, you're not even going to be able to tell that that was even there. Here's the taillights for the kit. You'll notice there's two different sets here, and one of the sets is the old style S10 taillights, and you'll notice there's like a mold line right in the middle of them where the taillight and the backup light would be separated. And then the other set that they offer is just a smooth set, and that would be the more modern style that was used in the later years. I'm going to use the old style with the separate backup lights, and then I'll just save the other set for another kit. Here's the decal sheet that comes with the truck, and not a whole lot here, but then again the Syclone really didn't have a whole lot. Most of the body was just all jet black. They really didn't do a whole lot in the way of graphics except for the Syclone emblem on the side of the door. But we've got a couple of license plates, we've got some vanity plates. There's a couple of stripes here that you could use if you wanted to, and it looks like the GMC Motorsports decals for, I guess, if you wanted to put those on the windshield or the back window or something. Kind of doubt if I'll use any of them, but I'll definitely save them and put them in the file. They didn't come in a plastic bag, which is okay, I guess, but it would have been nice to protect them. So I'll probably slide them into a Ziploc bag and put them away. Here's all the trees of the different parts that come with the truck, and we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 large trees. All of the trees are about, well, really about 7 or 8 inches by about 10 inches, full of parts here. And I was looking through this the other day when the kit came, and I'll tell you, this is definitely one of the most detailed kits that I've ever bought. And I'll say it again, there is almost no flash anywhere on any of the parts of this kit. And that'll make for a nice clean build, save a lot of time to do that. But you can see where here's the drive shaft, and you can see the universal joints are nice and crisp. There's not a lot of junky plastic filling the joints up on that. The engine parts have nice crisp details. You can see the servos on the transmission and all of the vents and the bolts that stick out the sides, and the freeze plugs on the block. It's just all around a nice mold. This kit has an individual master cylinder. The master cylinder for the brakes isn't made onto the brake booster, so if you wanted to, you could even make this a manual brake vehicle, which is kind of cool. And it's molded in one piece, so you're not going to have a seam on that. Here's something else that I thought was interesting, is the power steering pump is one individual piece that gets glued on separately. I can't recall a kit before that I've seen that on. Here's the front suspension, the drag link, and the tie rods and idler arm and everything. Just a nice crisp mold there, nice detail involved with that. Having that separate is going to make it easier to convert this to a two-wheel drive vehicle also. Here's the next tree. This one has the frame on it, has some of the floor pan of the truck, and I kind of wish that they would have made that a separate piece. You know, they put a lot of individual pieces in here that other kits don't have. It seems like it would have been great to have made that a separate piece too, but that's okay, we'll make it work. Here's the one thing that I'm not crazy about, and it seems like this is just something that most of the kits are doing these days, is putting the mold marks in, like the trademark General Motors and then the Made in China junk, and kind of wish that they would put that someplace else, but I guess that's what just has to happen. Here's the shocks, and I don't know if those are front shocks or rear shocks, probably rears, but you can see they've got the little boots around the tops of the shocks, and just great detail there. Nice open clean holes, make it easy for putting them together. That must be the rear shocks, because I believe that this is the front shocks, and even at only about a ½ an inch long, they've got pretty nice detail on them. Because this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, it's got a transfer case, and it's an individual piece, so I'm not going to be making this a four-wheel drive, so I'm just going to put that together and paint it, detail it up, and put it away. Maybe I'll use it in a diorama and put it up on a parts shelf someplace. Here's most of the body parts: bed sides, the hood, the inside of the bed, tailgate. It just has a flat hood, which is good for me. One of the things that I'm going to be doing with this kit is I want to try to find a hood from a 67 Revell Super Sport, and I want to cut the flares out of that and graft them into this hood. It's something that I'm planning on doing on my S10, and it'll be, I think, just a nice touch, make it a little bit more unique to anything else that you've seen out there. Here is the standard S10 dash. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus in there. That one is just with the ramp style speedometers and fuel gauge, and then it's also got the slide up and down heater controls on the right there, and then bottom left is your headlight controls. That's the dash that would come in just the basic model, but if you look at one of the other trees, and they don't mention this in the actual directions, but it comes with that dash, and then it also comes with the Syclone dash, which has the round gauges on it as well. So I'll be using the standard S10 dash probably, and if I even use the S10 dash at all, I may look for a dashboard out of an old 60s vintage car to stick in the truck and make it fit, just kind of give it a little bit different flair. Here is the nose clip, the nose tip I should say, which is the only one that comes in the truck, and only GMC. Again, you know, with all the different options that they have put in this kit, I would have loved to seen a S10 nose available for it, but we'll see what we can do with this one and change the bumper up a little bit. Maybe I may even just cut that whole grill out and replace it with a photo etched piece and kind of do a custom grill on it, make it look like a Chevy instead of a GMC. Comes with a roll pan for the rear, which I believe is the only option, but I'm not going to use it. I will probably just scratch build a bumper to put on the back. And then the last piece is this one with some of the interior parts, the door panels. Door panels are real nice on this one. You can see how crisp the handles area is, and you may be able to see in the video that they even have some texture on the panels where it would have been fabric, which is kind of nice. It'll save from having to do some detail, just some good flat paint and look just as good as if it was flocked. Firewall also is real nice. The brake booster is molded into the firewall, so if you were going to make this a manual brake vehicle, then of course you'd have to figure a way to get that out, but at least you have that option, and just use a little bit of plastic or some filler to cover over where you would have put that. But even on this one, you can see there's really not a lot of wires molded into the dash. It looks like there's just that, or the firewall, there's just that one hose that's going down the face of the firewall, but everything else is nice and smooth, so it'll make it real easy for hand wiring all of this dash and making it that much more authentic. Here's the mirrors, just the standard S10 mirrors, and standard S10 windshield wipers, which would not be chrome on this one. They were always painted flat black, so that's what we'll do with this one also. Here's the steering column, and also the manual transmission shifter, which I will not use. I'll make this one an automatic, probably with an overdrive transmission. But even the visors are individual piece on this kit, which is nice. Give you some options there for making the truck look like it's being used. So there you have it. This is the GMC Syclone made by Revell. And like I said, I think all said from Amazon, probably $12 or $15 for this after you pay for the shipping and everything. Considering that it was a $20 or $25 kit originally, pretty good value. So if you're looking for a good truck build, or if you're looking for a kit that has a lot of really good usable parts for other kit bashes, this is a great one to do. Hope everything's going good in your world. Give us a shout, let us know what's going on, and we'd like to see that. Watch again soon for the next video. Until then, this is Ken with What Is Ken Doing?